Why? Because it defines our protective layer. Definition of protective layer. I'll ask a classmate to answer it, who can answer the question, what is the definition of a protective layer? Okay, this classmate answered it. What is the definition of a protective layer? I think the definition of a protective layer is the shortest distance from the edge of the rebar on the outermost edge of the member to the concrete surface. Very good. Sit down and let's take a look at the answer. The distance from the outer edge of the rebar on the outermost edge of the member to the concrete surface. The answer given by the classmate was even better than the one here. He added the shortest distance. In fact, this is an accurate description. The shortest straight line distance. The outermost edge of the rebar. The outermost edge of the rebar on the outermost. This point has not been taken into consideration by the classmate who just made the calculation. He thinks that the longitudinal reinforcement was the rebar on the outermost edge, but in fact, on the outermost edge of longitudinal reinforcement, we have what? There is also a stirrup. On the outer edge of the stirrup, there is still a protective layer. For the protective layer, be sure to note that it is at the outermost edge of the rebar, rather than the stressed steel bar on the outer edge. Which means on the outside of the stressed steel bar, there are also stirrup for the protective layer. If you hadn't considered that earlier, then the result of the calculation will become thinner. Thinner structure will have an impact on our building. It will affect the safety of our building structure. We need to recheck some key members, where you need to recheck your construction, or recheck if there are any errors in your cutting calculations. If you make a mistake in your calculation, can you detect such errors during a recheck? If it was detected, then it is your quality problem. It will also pose safety issues to the building. Why is our protective layer too small or too large pose problems? If it is too small, then its layer will be thinner. The rebar is prone to rust. Water seeps in easily. And when the rebar is rusty, its volume will increase. It will expand. After the expansion, the thin edge will definitely coming off eventually. Coming off like this is definitely unacceptable. This will greatly affect the durability of the rebar, durability of reinforced concrete, and some stressed parts. Will cause safety risks, bringing safety problems. It is the same when the edge is too large. It will cause the crack to become too wide. What will happen if it is too wide? At the very least, it will affect your perception. Will affect perception. A building with a large crack is the one in which you definitely don't want to live. It will affect its safe use and affect our renovation, etc. The exterior appearance will also become worse. If the crack is too large, it will also crack inside. Then the outside will be damaged too. It will also cause economic waste. And for the pressing area, if such a problem was caused by calculation and the pressing area was decreased, the member will be prone to generate slight bias and failed under stress. We must be strict with the calculation. Following definition of the protective layer strictly. Standardization. Standardization in construction, standardization in inspection, and we must have a sense of pride in the building we have constructed or designed by ourselves. Of course, we have to bear this responsibility. Such responsibility in the process of calculation. This classmate made a mistake in his calculation.